breezy for this. I actually had to move the camera inside the garage there because I don't want the tripod to fall over. Hi you guys, it's Karen with Love Your Land, and 2 seconds before I hit record, it got windy. So if it's loud, I apologize. But anyway, luckily this is going to be a quick video. In fact, I hesitated to do it because it seems almost overly simple to me, but I've had it really so many people ask me, what is compost tea? What is this compost tea you speak of? And although I think everybody knows what this is, evidently they don't. So, and I think too, even if people have heard of compost tea, they haven't tried it because the only method they know of is this complicated thing that involves like bubblers and hoses and molasses, and I don't get it. But I mean, I do get that. I'm just joking. But I'm going to show you the easy method of compost tea. And in fact, there's a reason that some people don't try this method. And it's a valid concern, but it's really, in my experience and many other people's experiences, it's not a concern. The concern is that the anaerobic pathogens like E. coli that can be present in this compost tea because of the potential lack of oxygen. Okay, that's why people that do the complicated method have the bubblers and all that stuff. It's circulating it. So the way to avoid that lack of oxygen is to come out and stir it. Sorry, there's a wasp or something over there. Anyway, you just come out and stir it. It's really easy. And you know that if you do this, you'll put your compost in, you'll fill it with water, and you'll come out every so often and stir it. And every time you do, you'll see bubbles come up. So you know it's getting oxygen. And if you don't stir it, you're going to come out here and be like, what died? It is the worst smell. It's so bad. And so if you do that, well, I'm not going to tell you what to do on that case, or in that case, but what I have done is if I've failed to stir it for 14 hours, let's say, and I'm out in the garden and I smell that very, very obvious smell, I just come over and stir it, and then I give it extra stirs for like another 24 hours, and then I use it. So basically, if you don't drink it, you know, which you wouldn't, it's gross. If you're not going to drink it, you're probably safe. So, and some people even use gloves and a mask. I have never. I actually just read that recently. I'm like, am I supposed to use gloves and a mask? But I haven't, and I've never had a problem. I also wash my hands, so, you know, that helps. But I want to give credit where credit's due. He didn't invent it, I'm sure. Well, not sure, actually. He's a pretty smart guy. But this is the method that Ray at the Praxis 55712 channel taught me. Sorry, I'm just noticing something weird. So this is the method that I learned from Ray, and I've been using it for a couple years, and it works great. And I haven't made compost tea in a while because plants in the big garden are kind of on that. Well, they're definitely on the out. There's some, I mean, not some. All the tomato plants are still there, but they're either dead or they have green tomatoes on there that I'm letting get to the point where they're ripe enough to pick off, but they certainly at this point would no longer benefit from compost tea. I don't, ooh, black wasp, that's even worse. Once your plants, you know, if you have a dead plant, sorry guys, it's compost time. And I don't mean compost tea, I mean throw it in the compost bin, it's not going to help it. But the reason I'm making it is because I have some new growth in here. I have the sugar snap peas behind me, and then I also have some arugula and spinach that for whatever reason are just real slow going. They're just, I think they're lazy, I don't know, but they're just not growing very fast. So especially those are leafy greens. There's a lot of nitrogen in this batch of compost because I think this is about a 3-gallon bucket. I've only filled it about halfway. I'm not going to fill this all the way with water, okay, we'll get to that. This is about halfway full, and it's, I'd say maybe the top, is that a worm? The top maybe 2 inches is, well, it's dead if it is. The top 2 inches of this is just pure coffee grounds, so pure nitrogen. So that's definitely going to help the green growth for these leafy greens I have in here. And that's it. So I need to go turn the water on. Forgot to do that, but we'll be right back, and I'll show you how to fill your bucket with water. I mean, it just really couldn't be any easier. But I'll show you anyway, and then we'll go from there. So hang on just a second. Sorry. Okay, we're back. I had planned on bringing you in close to show you this, but it's still windy and I don't want the tripod to fall over, so you're staying there. But I think you're gonna get the gist of what I'm doing here. So, I'm taking my compost again. This is primarily compost from my garden, which is vegetable parts and toilet paper rolls and stuff like that. That's been composting for a while, actually. And then the top layer, like I said, is coffee grounds. Used coffee grounds, not fresh. So I'm just going to dump this in here. Now I'm going to add water. So like I said, if I was going to fill this thing up, I'd probably fill this bucket with about maybe a third of the way up with compost-ish, and then fill it all the way up, but I don't actually have that much compost right now. Plus, I don't have that big of an area to feed. So, there you go. That's it. That's it. So this is filled up. Again, I'm not bringing it out here because it's windy. This is filled up to about right there. Okay, right about here. So that ends up being about 1/3 compost, 1/3 water. And again, I'm not trying to be real scientific in my own garden about this because I know it doesn't matter that much. But that's good enough. It's it's enough water to help steep the compost and make the tea. It's not too little where it's just going to be a big mud glob. And it's also a nice amount for me to be able to give some of this composty love to my plants. So now I'm going to take my trusty stick that I've been using for years. I just find this thing at the beginning of the season. I'm like, where's my stick? And I'll just find this out there somewhere. It's rolled around all winter and been buried in snow. But it's, I don't know what it is, some sort of plastic, but it works good. So I'm just stirring it. I will bring it in close, just handheld here in just a second just to show you, but what's going to happen when you come out to stir it? It's like my cauldron from magical witch brew. My neighbors probably think that I'm crazy. I don't think they have any idea what this big bucket and this stick is when I come out here. But what's going to happen, by the way, I don't think I told you this. I may have, I don't remember. But anyway, once you do this, like from this point, it's going to take about 24 hours for it to be ready. And in that time, I'm going to come out and stir it about twice a day. And that's it. And twice a day is, from everything I've read and in my own practice, twice a day in a 24-hour period is plenty of time to keep that oxygen flow in there and keep it a nice, healthy batch. So I'll be right back again. Okay, the tea is done steeping. It is now, what we're left with is this super rich, super dark tea. And by the way, if you don't already know this, the benefits of compost tea, which I probably should have mentioned before, whatever. It basically takes that compost and seeps just like, you know, if you ever made sun tea as a kid, put the tea bags in and you put it on your porch and you watch it just get richer and richer. Well, that's that tea. It's all of the nutrients and things from the tea steeping into the water. And so that's what compost tea is, and it makes the compost readily available for your plants to take up. So you can feed the soil with it, and you can also spray your plant leaves with it. If you wanted to put it in a spray bottle, you're going to need to strain it if you're going to put it in a spray bottle, or it's just going to get clogged. But it helps your plants to be more disease resistant. It increases productivity in the soil, microorganisms and things like that. And the other fantastic benefit of compost tea, and I learned this just in my own experience. A few years ago, I got a compost tumbler. It's just right over there, and it's great. But when I saw it, I thought, oh my gosh, it's a huge barrel. It's going to make like this huge barrel of compost. Well, that's not the case. Obviously, it's composting down. So I don't get enough compost from that barrel, and I do need to keep it in the barrel with my dogs. So if that's what you're comment below is going to be the answer is I can't just have a pile or a bin or whatever. The dogs would go crazy. So I have it in this tumbler, and I am never producing enough compost to feed my whole garden with just plain compost. So the other benefit of compost tea is it extends your compost. So I can do one batch, literally one batch of compost in the spring, and in the summer I just take from that, and it'll last me pretty much the whole grow season outside. I have a kind of a small grow season here, but anyway, like I said, you can pour it directly on the soil at the base of the plants. I've already poured some here, so I'm not going to do it again, but you can either feed the soil directly or you can spray it directly on your plants, and it's a fantastic thing. So I hope I've encouraged you to try compost tea. I'll do another video or picture or something in like a week or so to show you how these plants have responded, and I'm going to be pretty consistent about oh, by the way, you cannot overfeed your plants, your soil, compost tea. You just can't. So you can literally water your plants every single time with compost tea, and all they will do is reap the benefits. So I think that's what I'm going to do in here, since it is fall and we're getting pretty close to wrapping this whole gig up. But I'll let you guys see the results. So to encourage you further to try it on your own, because it is a wonderful thing. There are so many wasps out here. You guys would be so proud of me for doing this right now, but if I sound like I'm trying to rush, that's why. So I will see you next time, and thanks for joining me out here in my little garden. Talk to you soon. Bye.